Welcome back to the Founders Leadership Operating System. This is episode 2. The brutal truth about leadership: your team becomes you. In this episode, we're going to highlight a few of the key areas and ideas from chapters 4, 5, and 6. To go deeper and see the full leadership framework, insights, and real-world examples, be sure to read the guide. It's designed to deliver practical lessons you can apply immediately to strengthen your leadership operating system and drive meaningful impact in your organization. What we're going to talk about now is that your company's culture doesn't reflect what you say, it reflects who you are. Literally, culture starts with the founder. If the founders want to build a culture that wins, scales, and lasts, then they need to embody the traits that become the standard for everyone else. A company's culture is nothing more than the character of the founders multiplied across the team. Here are the 10 traits that matter most, the ones that separate the founders who build movements from the founders who build messes. Number 1, integrity, which is non-negotiable alignment between words and actions. Culture collapses the moment people see hypocrisy. Founders must be the most accountable, honest, and reliable people in the building. Integrity creates trust, and trust creates speed. 2, discipline. Do the hard things consistently. Founders set the cadence. Discipline is the engine behind the culture of execution. 3, humility. Take feedback, learn fast, serve the mission. Arrogant founders can destroy companies very easily. Humble founders build a legacy of future leaders and a company that made a difference in the world. 4, clarity. Simple vision, simple priorities, simple language. 5, courage. Make the hard calls that others avoid. 6, empathy. Understanding people, lifting people up, and developing people. 7, ownership. Everything is their responsibility. Founders who blame, justify, or make excuses create weak cultures. Founders who own everything create strong cultures. The team will mirror whatever level of ownership the founders embody. 8, curiosity, relentless learning and experimentation. The best founders stay students. They ask questions and seek the truth. They test, try, and evolve. They stay engaged and adaptable. Curiosity keeps the culture innovative, flexible, and alive. Number 9, consistency. Predictable behavior creates predictable culture. Consistency breeds stability, and the culture reflects whatever the founders repeatedly do. And lastly, 10, service. Put the mission and the people above ego. Founders who serve the mission and the team create cultures that people want to stay in. Founders who serve their ego create cultures that people want to run from. Service builds loyalty, trust, and long-term commitment. The character of the founders becomes the character of the company. The culture becomes the behavior of the people, and the behavior becomes the results of the business. All right, let's move on to chapter 5 now. We're going to move on from traits to values. This is really values before vision, and it's the hidden DNA of every great company. You know, vision tells you where you're going, but values decide how you're going to get there and who survives the trip. If the founders want to build a culture that wins, scales, and survives the storms, then these are the 5 core values they must embody so clearly and consistently that their people can feel them every day without ever reading a poster. These 5 values become the cultural spine of every great company. 1, integrity. The value is do what you say and say what you mean always. Why it matters? Well, integrity is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of culture. Without trust, nothing else scales. Not strategy, not execution, not accountability. Modeled behavior means keeping commitments, telling the truth even when it hurts, and owning mistakes immediately. That's right, the founders owning mistakes immediately. When founders live with uncompromising integrity, the entire organization rises to that standard. 2, accountability. The value is, well, everything is my responsibility. I'm accountable. No excuses. Why it matters? Well, accountability creates clarity, speed, and progress, where blame slows everything down. Model behavior means owning problems instead of deflecting, asking, what can I do better? And a culture with accountable founders becomes a culture that wins. 3, service. The value? Leaders exist to serve the mission and the people, not their own ego. Why it matters? Well, great cultures are built by leaders who lift others, remove obstacles, develop talent, serve the mission, and not themselves. Modeled behavior means making decisions for the good of the whole, protecting the culture, coaching instead of commanding, and service-driven founders create loyal, high-trust teams who fight for the mission. 3, courage. The value is do the hard thing, have the hard conversation, and make the hard call. Well, why it matters is without courage, the wrong people stay too long, bad behavior gets ignored, and mediocrity can spread like a virus. Model behavior means transparent communication, decisive action, and confronting problems early. A courageous founder gives the entire organization the permission to be bold. 5, humility. The value is stay a learner, stay open, stay grounded. Why it matters? Well, humility keeps the culture coachable, adaptable, collaborative, low ego, and high performance. Modeled behavior means listening more than talking, admitting mistakes, and it is all noticed by the employees. The best companies win because their founders never stop learning and engaging. If the founders live these 5 values with consistency, even when they don't want to, then the culture will reflect them. Remember this, vision inspires, but values instruct. All right, we're going to move now into how to actually do that. So chapter 6 talks about the founder's mirror. Your culture reflects who you are and how you engage. As we just covered, the toughest culture problem isn't your team, it's your reflection. Your culture reflects who you are, not what you say, but how you engage, how you show up every day. And every weakness you refuse to fix in yourself can become a dysfunction multiplied across the company. Here are some foundational principles to keep in mind. Self-awareness shapes authenticity. People follow real, flawed, not perfect leaders. Leaders who know their blind spots can create psychological safety. So be vulnerable and avoid corporate speak. Ego unchecked equals culture unraveled. When a founder can't be questioned, the mission becomes a cult of personality. Transparency builds trust. Sharing lessons from your own mistakes gives others permission to grow. This is leading with humility, and this is a trait you don't see very many founders do. Join CEO or founder associations to learn from the experience of others in your exact same situation. Another thing to do is to hire an executive coach for yourself or the leadership team. Conduct 360-degree reviews for this group and then work on all the pertinent issues. Lastly, you can have a seasoned operator at the C-level on your board of directors. Okay, let's go into 7 practical boots-on-the-ground actions that founders and other senior executives can take to use this concept of the founder's mirror actively to shape the culture of the future. You don't have to do all these at once. You can prioritize them based on your company's stage of development. Think of this list as a toolkit that you can pull from every quarter to ensure that culture is aligned from top to bottom and cross-functionally. And note, whenever you see the word founders, think that it is also meant to include senior leaders. Okay, number 1, a monthly frontline listening tour. Spend 1 hour each month meeting with people who do the actual work in any department, customer service, sales reps, engineers, trainers, support, whatever. You can ask them a lot of questions like, what's slowing you down? What's one thing leadership doesn't see? If you were me, what would you fix first? This single habit can transform blind spots into fuel. Number 2, a brown bag lunch and learn. Founder holds a meeting, either in person or over Zoom. Everyone has lunch, no slide decks. You get to 8 to 12 employees from different departments together, and you talk about lessons learned, mistakes made, wins you've had, why the mission matters, and you talk about the importance of culture and how we treat each other. Make sure you listen more than you speak, take a lot of good notes, and this builds connection and lowers the intimidation barrier. Number 3, a weekly open door power hour. Choose 1 hour every week where anyone, I mean literally anyone, can walk in or Zoom in and talk. No appointment, no gatekeeping. Just come on and have a conversation, whatever's on your mind. This signals your voice matters and you don't need permission to speak up or to speak to leadership. 4, founder shadowing. Once a month, shadow an employee for 60 to 90 minutes. For example, you could sit on support calls, join sales demos, join a channel partner enablement training, review support tickets with engineers, review software feature scoping sessions. I mean, the list goes on. Founders who understand the work creates cultures that respect the work, and you'll be much more plugged into what the problems are on the front lines. 5, this is powerful. Quarterly all-hands mistake review. The founders share the biggest mistake they made that quarter, what they learned, and what they're changing. This crushes fear, boosts transparency, and normalizes growth. That is a best practice that very few founders do. Number 6, founder-led onboarding welcomes. Every new hire should meet the founder within the first 10 days, just 15 to 20 minutes, and let the founder share why the company exists, how the culture works here, what excellence looks like. what behaviors won't be tolerated, and just the importance of how well we get along with each other. One team, one goal is something you hear me talk a lot about, and this is a great time to instill that in the new hires. 7 is biannual employee state of the company micro survey. You can ask just 3 to 5 questions, all free text responses. What's the biggest cultural risk you see right now? What is leadership not paying attention to? What behavior would you remove from our culture? Okay, these 7 ideas are modeling the servant leadership style that you want all your leaders to exhibit. Let's wrap up this episode. We explored some hard realities. A company's culture is nothing more than the founder's character multiplied across the organization. Your habits, your standards, your courage, or your avoidance. Everything gets mirrored across the team. We also talked about the idea of the founder's mirror, the uncomfortable but powerful truth that every leadership blind spot eventually becomes a cultural problem. But understanding culture is only the first step. The next step is turning that culture into alignment and execution, because even great teams will fail when everyone is running in different directions. Look, and if you want to create the right leadership operating system or transform the one you have, please download the Leadership 3.0 Founders Leadership Operating System Guide from the YouTube channel. In the next episode, we're going to tackle one of the most powerful leadership tools of scaling companies, how to lock in and lock down a single North Star metric for the entire organization. And you'll create a system where every department rows in the same direction. This is also the first episode where we will put the spotlight on the wrong way to do this. And it's based on a couple different scenarios that play out across the world every day. As in, we're going to cover horrible situations that are self-induced wounds that are happening every day across thousands of startups all across the world. And the bad news is it's destroying careers, companies, and investors' capital. See you on the next episode.